Don't you have a brother or a cousin?
No brothers. I have a cousin in Iowa or Indiana, one of the states.
Yeah, well, I'm flattered, Coop, but I can't.
Welcome back, everyone, to Rock Hard Caucus. This is our 241st episode. It is March 21st. Forgot what month it was for a second. I just got back from Branson, Missouri. My wife and I took a trip. Have you ever been there, Evan?
I have not, but my family is actually from the Ozarks. So okay. It's like I should go. I need to make a pilgrimage to my ancestors.
Yeah, it's I think the most interesting thing about it to me was that about half of the land area of the town is like old abandoned parking lots that are being reclaimed by nature.
I love that.
There's one thing that I wanted to show you though at the beginning of this podcast. We went to this place that gives out like discounted tickets to stuff, and they gave us a deck of cards which has a bunch of like local people on it, and my favorite one was this one of the Joker cards. It's Jim Barber, and it says he is a ventriloquist and radio host. So yeah, radio ventriloquism.
Yeah, that's a tough sell, I think, right?
Well,
kind of loses part of the appeal of the ventriloquism.
Maybe, but you can't say that he's not the best at it because you don't know.
That's true.
So he can claim to be the best ventriloquist.
He can be really bad at it and get away with it.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell you that at the beginning of the show because I'm trying out my new act now on today's episode. I will be speaking through a ventriloquist doll for the rest of today, and you're just going to have to take my word for it at home, everyone.
I'll back you up on it. No problem.
Thank you. All right, now we should probably get to the important stuff and not keep our guests waiting too long while I show you a deck of cards. We are joined today by a candidate for state office. We got India May joining us from her car. She's running for State House in District 58. Could you tell us where that is, India?
Yeah, it's all of Chickasaw and parts of Floyd and Bramer counties. So definitely the best parts of the state.
That's up in the Northeast.
That's correct. We call it the Cedar Valley to those in the know, or Driftless area to those who might be familiar.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there, actually. The Driftless area is really cool.
Yes, it is.
It's a little different than the rest of the state.
Oh, you think the rest of the state's not cool and beautiful?
Oh, I love it. I love it all. We're an all Iowa podcast.
Yeah,
so we have to love it all. Yeah.
All of it. But that's like you got some small towns. It's a very rural part of the state. Olwine is there. Is that like the biggest city in your area?
Not quite every district. It's close.
It's not in the district. Okay.
Charles City, maybe Hampton, Sumner, I think are my three metropolises.
Okay. Well, okay. I was thinking Olwine was in there. You don't even have Olwine. All right.
No.
People may already be familiar with you. Well, you're sort of related to an important event. You are at least partially responsible for this.
Well, we all are going to die.
You prompted our Senator Joni Ernst to tell a crowd of people that everyone's going to die, right?
That was me, yes. I was just saying what everyone in the room was thinking, okay?
Well, I think she was thinking same thing, right? Like everybody is constantly thinking about how we're going to die, right? So she was just giving voice to our concerns.
I suppose. I mean, I work as a county death investigator, so mortality is on my mind, I suppose. But prevention is really what I'm hoping to focus legislation on, you know?
Yeah, I saw that you work as a death investigator. What does that involve? Like, what are you doing?
The technical term is MER. So I go and if there's a death that's not attended by a physician, then I assess the scene and body, help the family make decisions for funeral homes, autopsy, and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a tough job.
Oh, it's never boring.
So I imagine you have to be kind of sensitive, but immediately the questions that come to mind are like, "Oh, what's the craziest death you've seen?" which you probably shouldn't answer.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer anything.
In my district, a lot of preventable deaths, a lot of things that are really tragic that could have been avoided if we had better mental health care and a better healthcare system. So I don't really tell crazy stories, but I can tell you some sad ones.
Yeah, we could probably fill an hour with just like really sad and horrible death stories if that's how you want to proceed. We can go down that route. So I was doing like just very basic cursory, like I need to know a little bit before we talk about this race. Your opponent is incumbent Republican Charlie Thompson. What do you know about him? Like, why did you decide you need to run against him? And you are the only Democrat, right? You don't have a primary to deal with?
That's right. Neither him nor I have a primary challenger, so it's a pretty simple race. Charlie Thompson is a lawyer and real estate developer. He owns multiple mansions and some commercial real estate and rental houses in our district. He did have a $9 million development project that he went bankrupt on because he didn't get the tax incentive funding that he was expecting. He didn't make the deadline. And that has been pretty controversial. It did leave the community holding the bag. And there is some documentation since then that he has chosen not to pay his property taxes. So they come up delinquent and then people buy a lien on his property and he pays them instead. And that's been working okay for him. And he's running his campaign in a way that strikes me as a little bit similar. So we outraised him, which is awesome. Thank you so much to everybody who contributed. This has been a fantastic grassroots effort because we have a much smaller average donation and a lot more donations. And Charlie has larger donations, but he writes everything off on his campaign expenses as a personal debt to himself. So he's outspent us too. He is owed $80,000 by his campaign. So the way that he works finances is strange and unusual to someone like me. I'm very debt averse. I would call myself fiscally conservative. I've seen this sort of pattern with Republicans in the legislature. That they're running this crazy deficit with a plan that it's going to regulate itself, but it's just unsustainable systems and using too much debt. I just don't think this is going to work on a long-term scale. Even the short term is a little scary. So somebody's got to stop that. We're hemorrhaging right now.
You mentioned he owns multiple mansions. How many mansions do you own?
9. I just bought my first home, age 33. Woo woo!
Nice.
I'm millennial, first home ownership age. It is not a mansion. It's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Okay. Only like 4 or 5 bedrooms, not like
It's a 2 bedroom. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, his properties are beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Well, it sounds like you could perhaps put a lien on one of his homes. Maybe you could have got a home earlier if you knew the strategy there to sort of like, if he's not paying his property taxes, I can just take it away from him, right? Is that how it works?
Stay tuned. Hey, Charlie, this June, if I see those come up for sale, consider it. That's a good investment.
Yeah, time to move up. He on his website, he's got charliethompsonforhouse.com. He has a PDF of all of the legislation that he has sponsored or co-sponsored. It's a 5-page document. This is, as far as I know, it's everything that he's ever attached his name to, whether it passed or not. One of them really caught my eye, House File 148, which I believe is from, the 2023 session. I don't know if you're like familiar with every piece of legislation your opponent has signed his name onto, but this one regards, so in Iowa, we can change our party affiliation like on the day we vote or the day we participate in a caucus. And he and some of his colleagues introduced this bill, which would change the requirements there. You have to, Yeah, a registered voter shall not change or declare a political party affiliation between the day 146 days before the primary election and the day of the general election. So you have to have been a member of the party that you are voting in the primary of. 146 days, that's like, was that like 5 months before? I don't know why he chose that number in particular. But that's the one that really jumped out at me. I'm sure that he's sponsored a lot of other bad legislation, but that one just seemed kind of absurd.
There's a lot of bad stuff on here.
He wants to make mifepristone a felony. That was one of his sponsored bills. Also, a resolution to align Iowa with Israel for some reason was one of his resolutions. He's been behind a lot of the culture wars. He posts a lot of misinformation about trans people in between posting in Latin about Catholicism onto his official Facebook, which is interesting. The choice is there.
Oh, like his government page? He's posting
as a representative. It's really quite strange. And then he is in full support. My senator is Sandy Salmon, and they get along quite well and agree on a lot of things. So she's spearheading a lot of these book bans and public library bills. There's been a lot of them, too. It's hard to keep up, but they're not passing. They're getting deemed unconstitutional. They're not making it through funnel. Thank goodness. But he is in full support. I called him personally as his constituent before I announced my run against him, and I asked him why he would support these things. He said it's because the American Libraries Association has the agenda to queer the catalog.
Queer the catalog. Okay.
Queer the catalog. They want to make the catalog gay.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked that up. I couldn't find where this claim came from, what he read that made him think that, or any evidence to support that whatsoever. And I was really trying to prove myself wrong as a librarian. I'm very defensive of libraries, but I'm also very committed to researching and really understanding things. This one was a doozy. I could not find what he was talking about there. That is not the case. The American Libraries Association is not trying to turn the children gay.
Yeah, they've been claiming a lot of stuff like that. Like it's normalizing gender diversity and stuff like that, just by allowing children to read material about sexual orientation, etc.
And I've learned a lot about what it's like to be a dinosaur, and it didn't turn me into a dinosaur when I was young. I just really loved that subject. Reading about things doesn't make you into the thing.
Yeah, no, when I was a kid, I would always check out books about like cryptozoology. I read like several books about the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and stuff, and I'm still a human, and those creatures they still elude us, despite all of my efforts to educate myself about them.
Well, on the other hand, gay authors do exist, and they are making things that people want to read. And I don't think it's that unusual that, there would be representation at the library. That's a great place to learn about other people's experiences and, anything.
Yeah. So you said that you called Charlie before you had decided to run for office yourself to ask him about his library, his hatred of the library. So I guess what was the catalyst? Like, why did you end up jumping into the race yourself?
Well, a lot of people really passionately want better leadership, and like myself. And I went to everybody who'd ever run against him. And I went to people who had previously served, and I begged them to be the ones to run. And every time they said, well, you should consider it. And I was not a politically inclined person before. I was registered independent, and I had my blinders up. I wanted to be a quiet professional who just helped people inside my bubble with the skill sets that I have and let better people take big leadership roles. And that's got us a hill of beans so far. So I took the advice of people that I really admire. A bunch of really great people have run for this position and not won. And that's no mark against their character or their professionality. They're really great people, but they don't have my relentless optimism and passion. So hopefully I can give this to them and build something. Even if I can't win this unwinnable race, I've been told that it's not going to be a big investment on the part of the Iowa Democratic Party because it's just not likely to be a good investment for them. And so if I can show them how much the pendulum can swing and how hard we can fight being the underdog, being underfunded and undersupported in this rural area and still move the needle. I can show people how to build this infrastructure so we can do better and better from here. Because we have got to take this back. Cannot let people who are obsessed with culture wars and are against civil rights, whatever godforsaken reason, control the narrative of what it's like to live in rural Iowa. We deserve better. We deserve clean water and safety and opportunities, even in areas where we don't have the money for infrastructure like people in the cities do.
And Charlie Thompson has not been in office that long. I think he's only won 2 elections so far, right? I was looking at the results there. He's won by, pretty significant margins. He tends to get like 60+% of the vote. But you said that you outraised him, so you definitely have like significant support behind you. Is that a change from his previous elections? Like, are you getting more attention, more support than his previous opponents?
Yes, I've been really blessed making national news and having a national level of support. We've really had a wide base of small donors, and I couldn't do it without them. So deeply appreciate it. Because we need help from all around because there's not a lot of money in rural Iowa. There's just not, and getting this support helps so much. So volunteer and donate to and I'll preach at your audience for a moment. Please, we need all hands on deck. They have the advantage, MAGA Republicans specifically, because I'm not against any conservative. I consider myself leaning conservative, but not according to the current definitions. MAGA made it weird. But MAGA Republicans have the advantage of being able to lie and get money from just anywhere. Progressives and left-leaning people do not have that. We only have the support of people, real people. So all hands on deck, do what you can for these candidates out here because we are running anti-corruption and we can win these elections, but it's going to take a huge momentum effort.
You just said that you consider yourself conservative in some ways. I noticed on your website, which is mayforiowa.com, you've got like a video sort of introducing yourself. And I believe in there you said something about being a reluctant Democrat. I guess I'm just curious about your, worldview, ideology in general. Like, because I'm reading your issues pages, you and I see pretty eye to eye on a lot of this stuff. And I'm like a dirty, rotten communist. So I'm wondering, like, in what way do you think of yourself as a conservative?
I'm starting to see more and more of the overlap with me and the dirty commies too. So I'm conservative in the way of a balanced budget is the only way that a government can function. And really being debt averse and responsible. But that is not what MAGA is doing anymore. We have seen the grift. They're taking public funds, taxpayer dollars, and siphoning them into private companies like our privatized Medicaid system and our ESA voucher program that's going with no oversight, no accountability. They're blocking the auditor's ability to do his job. And oh my gosh, Kim Reynolds bought a plane for $2.3 million with the taxpayer dime to fly around and ask us, well, what services can we cut to lower property taxes? Do we need to have so many rural fire departments? And she would rather watch rural Iowa burn to the ground than address the unfairness in our tax code. So I am the disgusting leftist that thinks we should tax the rich and corporations. But I'm also seeing the forest for the trees, how a simple, fair tax system would create sustainability and sustainability is the goal. And that should be the goal of conservatives. So that's where I overlap with conservative values is I don't want to fuss and fret about culture wars anymore. I think we've taken it too far. I just want to balance the budget, and I just want to do conservation efforts, the root of the word conservative, conservation with our water, and stop poisoning our land, because our farmlands are not going to be able to sustain the amount of production that they're doing right now. And our waterways are poisoning people. We have to address the cancer crisis. We have to stop all of the grifts, because if we cut corruption, we have the funds to do all of the above and more.
Yeah, when Republicans talk about balancing budgets and that idea, really it's their smokescreen for we're going to cut government services as much as possible, siphon more money to wealthy people and private interests. It's not an expression of a genuine priority or principle, right? They don't actually care about fiscal conservatism. It's about siphoning more money to the top, which is, of course, the goal of all of them, because they're on the top, or at least their benefactors are at the top.
Oh yeah, I call them the enablers of choice. All these politicians are just the enablers of choice of their favorite corporations. Which is crazy. And I don't know if you've seen the billboards for Monsanto. Their Monsanto is begging us to defend glyphosate.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I have seen that. Yeah. What's your opinion on glyphosate?
It's toxic. It's carcinogenic. But that's not my opinion. That's the facts. You can look at the studies. The evidence shows that we should not be ingesting this. It's poisoning our farmers too.
And you mentioned cancer earlier as well. Cancer is rising in the States. Are we the only state with a rising cancer rate? Is that what it was? Or one of two? I forget the stats.
Might be another. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. But cancer's bad here and it's getting worse. Why is that? Why is everyone here getting cancer?
There's a lot of different reasons. Radon is a huge issue here. Something like 70% of households are affected by radon that causes lung cancer. There is a bill that my opponent just voted against that would put passive radon mitigation systems into new houses, which would cost something like $500. If you're building a new house, that's nothing. To outfit passive radon mitigation in an existing house is a couple $1,000s or even more. So it would save people money and save lives. And for some reason, Charlie Thompson thinks that that's a mandate we don't need.
Okay, yeah. It's more red tape, making it harder to sell property. You got to install these radon mitigation systems. I think that's pretty much de facto a requirement when you buy a house at this point anyway. My parents bought the house they live in now almost 15 years ago, and they had to put a new radon system in when they bought it. So it's pretty standard. I don't know why Mr. Thompson's so... Don't let the government step in on this.
And another huge health hazard we need to address is nitrate runoff water. And there are simple things that we can do. We need to help farmers do them because it's expensive. So there were 6 bills, I believe, that were all methods to prevent agricultural runoff from poisoning our rivers. And not a one made it through committee because Republicans repeatedly voted it not a problem to address this year. And that's something that's just nuts to me because nitrates have been found to be carcinogenic.
Do you know our friend Chris Jones, who's running for Agriculture Secretary? Okay. That's kind of his big thing. So if you haven't met him, I think you and he would have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. I look forward to the opportunity to work with him on solving some of these problems in a way that's evidence-based. Since we're having such an attack on science itself, I did raise this question with Sandy Salmon, and she said that the real concern that she has is the abortifacient medications that are being leached into water systems.
I wonder why have they latched onto that as the deflection point? Because I would hope that to most people that's just absurd on its face, but
it's nuts. But this is when we antagonize the concept of science itself and education itself, you get just this kind of anti-intellectual nonsense that's not evidence-based. And because they demonize the critical thinking skills necessary to decide if that's accurate or not, then we get these crazy claims coming from a senator. It's so humiliating.
And Adam Steen, who's running for governor, also repeated that claim in a televised debate that it's abortion pills in the water that are giving people cancer. There's no real way to know this probably, but like, I don't think that many people are taking that many abortion pills all the time.
No.
Right? It can't really be having a meaningful effect on the water.
There's no evidence to support this. God.
So another issue related to the environment, and you talk about this on your website, is the CO2 pipelines. Is that a direct concern in your area? Were they going to run a pipeline through your part? Okay, really?
Yes. That was one of the first things that constituents came to me and brought me information, and I appreciate it so much because I did a lot of research, deep dive into the CO2 pipelines. So we got to roll the window up. There's sirens. Sorry. And I think this is one thing that Charlie Thompson and I truly overlap on in our personal beliefs. But again, I'm wanting the job of representative. So the job title and the job description are the same thing. I'm just a regular person from my district that listens to people and wants to represent them. So I will make decisions based on what people tell me. And people repeatedly have told me they just don't want it in their own backyards. And I can respect that. I wouldn't either. So we do have some of the pipeline plans running through both Floyd and Chickasaw County. So it's something that's very fresh on people's minds, and they want to take action about it. So I'm support that.
So is there any reason to oppose them other than, I just don't want this near where I live? Like, well, I guess why don't people want this near where they live? What are their concerns?
It's very hazardous. If there's a break in the line, it can be deadly, and people there's no amount of money that would make them feel comfortable with that.
And the purpose, what's the purpose of the pipeline? Like, in your understanding with the research you've done, like why are they trying to build these? What's the goal?
It's carbon sequestration. So it sequesters carbon and transports it underground, but it doesn't really eliminate it. So big businesses can get these credits for sequestering the carbon dioxide, but it really doesn't seem to have a net improvement on the environment.
Okay, so it's just moving gas around so people can claim credits from the government, and it doesn't actually do anything. Okay.
Basically.
It was well worth it for the communities. A similar thing, I guess. I didn't see anything on your website about this, I don't think, but data centers, are those a concern in your community?
I don't think just outside my district, there has been discussions about it, but not in my district, to the best of my knowledge. I think we need to move forward on studying the best practices if we're going to do it. I am not dogmatic in any of my opinions. So if it is coming down the pipeline and people truly want AI data centers, then we need to know what are the implications, what is the actual impact on the economy here, because we've lost a lot of jobs in this area and AI is a threat to jobs. So ensuring that we're preserving the workforce, we're being responsible for water and electricity. And that's a huge issue because everybody's bill has gone up in my district really quite alarmingly. My electric bill is pretty crazy right now. And we can't just keep jacking that up on people. So if residential electricity is footing the bill for this kind of commercial property, absolutely not. It has to.
Right.
They need to be improving the economy locally or stay out.
Okay, yeah, I think that's reasonable. Personally, I am kind of dogmatic about this. I think that data is evil. We shouldn't be storing data.
There's too much of it.
I feel that way. The more I learn, the more I agree with you, I have to say.
We've got enough data already. We can get by just fine with the data we already made and stored. No more data.
There are
Moratorium.
better ways to do this. I'm not going to be leaning hard on renewable energy. then it's just completely unsustainable. There is no way to keep the grid. The grid is already sort of tenuous here and very expensive because it's rural, but just statewide, it's an issue for sure.
So what has caused your electric bill to go up recently? Do you know?
I do not know the specific reasons. I need to look more into the utility companies here.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot to learn about that.
I don't know what makes electricity expensive. They got to burn gas or something, right?
Well, there's wind power.
Wind power here.
Yeah.
And that's something that my opponent is not in favor of. He wanted a moratorium on wind turbines due to the karst topography, which there's some validity in not building wind turbines on karst topography because it's fragile. So you can create sinkholes and have very expensive big problems if you have heavy moving structures. So being wise about where they're being built. But we have a wind farm that's been benefiting the local economy. I don't know if people really understand that. So I would definitely be a proponent for renewable resources and really innovative designs to eliminate some of people's concerns with turbines. They're so ugly. They take up so much farmland. There's probably better ways to do it, places to plant it. But I'm for renewable energy.
I never thought about it too much, but they all kind of look the same. They're just like big white monstrosities. You could at least paint them or something.
When I drive by them, I always say, "Oh, look, wow!" Like it's kind of like seeing a cow, where you're like, "Oh, a cow," or maybe that's me.
Yeah, I'm not too excited by cows anymore, but I do remember when I mean, maybe if I saw like a big cow or like an interesting colored cow. But
all cows are good cows.
Yeah, cows are great.
I don't have anything against cows. I'm just not that excited to see them.
It's old hat to you.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of cows in my time. Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, under your issues page, under the education section here, something you mentioned is protecting intellectual freedom in schools and libraries. Have you heard of the Center for Intellectual Freedom at the University of Iowa?
I have. It's a big waste of money so far as I've heard.
That's all that I've seen as well. But I was wondering what your definition of intellectual freedom is. And if it might differ from like the big flagship new school, the Center for Intellectual Freedom, like maybe you have a different conception of what intellectual freedom is all about.
That's a question. The freedom to read is a huge part of a librarian's work and their heart. So the freedom to have access to the materials that would educate a child and an adult. The freedom to engage fully in research, to have access to this data, and to really be, how do I have the information literacy to really sift through and find the truth, not being inundated with lies. Freedom from lies. Oh, what heaven. Journalistic integrity.
Isn't lying freedom, though?
Oh, I mean, you'll have to ask a Republican. Yeah, I think a search for the truth through evidence is just a beautiful thing. I would just love to be able to pursue that and not be just inundated with misinformation constantly.
That's where being non-dogmatic, helps. Because they're pretty dogmatic. I think the Intellectual Freedom Center is actually pretty, dogmatic and really not too pro-freedom.
No, it's really
it's
pushing a certain agenda, really emphasizing the benefits of American capitalism and the founders. It's like, that's kind of like their whole thing, is like mythologizing the foundation of the United States of America.
As well with Turning Point USA.
Oh, yeah, it's very much in line with that kind of thing. Speaking of Turning Point USA, the Iowa legislature, which you are hoping to join, the session is still ongoing. They have reached their second funnel, so there are certain deadlines where a bill has to pass out of a subcommittee or something by this date, or it falls off the schedule. And speaking of Turning Point USA, there was a bill that died this week, House File 2512. I'm reading from a Iowa Capitol Dispatch article here, sort of summarizing everything that lived and died this week. House File 2512 would have required the Iowa Board of Education to disqualify applicants and revoke licenses and certificates for education professionals identified as publicly celebrating any act of politically motivated violence, including the unlawful killing of Charles J. Kirk, with a retroactive effective date of September 10th of 2025, the day Kirk was fatally shot. And the bill was amended by the House Education Committee. Is Charlie Thompson on the House Education Committee? I didn't look that up.
Don't think he's on the Education Committee, but I do think he's a co-sponsor of this bill.
Okay. This was amended to also include provisions requiring licenses be revoked for teachers and administrators leading or encouraging protests, as well as requiring school boards to extend their district school calendar by 1 day for each day a student protest occurs at the district. All right, so this is, as of now, has no path towards being enacted as law, but it did make it this far. It was being seriously considered by our legislature. So, India, does this fit in with your vision of freedom?
Oh, my stars. It wouldn't be holding up in the courts because it would be deemed unconstitutional. It's a huge violation of the First Amendment right to free speech. And I don't know if MAGA has a good grasp on what free speech means. I don't know if they understand that you have the right to free speech protections against government overreach. The rest of your speech protections, I mean, you're not protected by your employer, you're not protected by your community, you're not protected by your family, you're not protected from the consequences of your words and actions, okay? You're only protected against government overreach, and that's why that would be a First Amendment violation, because that's government overreach right there. And to have this lawyer be a co-sponsor, he knows what the Constitution says. He knows what this means. There's no way he could misinterpret what the law is. I'm a librarian, okay? I am not a politician nor a lawyer, and I understand this fundamental right better than he does when he co-sponsored this bill. And so it's absurd. Students have the right to speak out too. Children tend to have fewer rights than adults everywhere in the world, and that's just wrong. They should be more protected and more upheld, uplifted in society. They tend to get the brunt of abuse in this world right now. So this would just be just a huge overreach. Teachers are allowed to have free speech, even if it's something you disagree with, and so are students. Good gravy.
Well, I guess that, as a librarian, you might be better at reading than lawyers in general. I don't know.
That must be it. I read the Constitution with a little, my critical thinking hat on.
Mm-hmm. It does kind of raise an interesting question, this would be punishing teachers for things that they said. I mean, this is primarily punishing people for Facebook posts is kind of what this is all about. So I don't really know, where's the line on that? What can a teacher say and not say, and where? I mean, obviously, I think it's fine if a teacher openly celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. We had one teacher in our district that helped to inspire Charlie Thompson to sign on to this bill, and it was a public post on her private page, so this had nothing to do with her teaching career. But she said she would not grieve Charlie Kirk. That was the big celebration of violence that was done in our district. One teacher said that she has no grief for this man who was openly racist. I don't know, man. I do think that she has said controversial things in the past, but this is not controversial. This is not a celebration of violence. It's not inspiring any more violence.
Yeah.
You cannot claim that the left is responsible for anything near the violence that we've seen from right-wing extremists in America.
Yeah, our president's
agreed.
celebrating the death of Robert Mueller today. Breaking news on the podcast. He just made a post saying he's glad that he is dead.
Which is a step beyond saying I will not grieve, right?
Yeah, it is.
Well, he has called for the death of his own members of Congress.
Yeah.
Who were members of the military veterans who made a statement to military personnel, active duty, that they cannot obey illegal orders. And he misinterpreted that. And no, he didn't. He just had a tantrum on social media about it. That is wild to me. So I do hope those members of Congress continue to speak out. So
I think he said Mark Kelly should be executed for treason, right? That's what that was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's pretty funny. Do you like the president? I guess we could just put that out there. Is that part of running for office? Is like you got to support the chain of command all the way up?
No, I can't support anything that Trump says or does right now. It's all horrific. He's dismantling our democracy.
What would you say if somebody said that you're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome?
I probably wouldn't speak to them. I don't have anything to say to them. They're not my people.
Can't win every vote.
Yeah, I suppose not. Well, yeah, I am curious about that. So you said that a lot of constituents have talked to you about pipelines. And the past couple elections have not been great for Democrats in your area. I don't know if Democrats have done well in your area, maybe ever. But in your efforts to campaign to people in your district, what have you learned? Like, is there any warmth towards you as a Democrat? Like, are they willing to vote for you at all?
So far, I've learned that trust is shot with all leadership. It doesn't matter what side they're on. They just feel unheard and ignored, and they feel like everything's out of control from the school board, city council, supervisor, state, national levels, everywhere. They're feeling like they don't have the capacity to trust another soul once to get into politics. And boy, do I understand that sentiment. So I do want to put my money where my mouth is and really truly prove. So all of my fundraisers are free and open to the vote. Every event that I announce is going to be open for you to come and meet me and see me. I open up my email so that you can speak to me directly because I'm just a person. I have never been in politics before, and I am not about to start a political career now. That's not my goal. I'm the person who wants to come in when things have gone horrifically awry and change it so that we can start a better trajectory. And then we can find somebody who is more literate with politics, more involved in politics that can step in and do this on a long basis. But I'm kind of can I cuss? Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Of course.
Okay. I'm like the oh shit handle and the break right now with things have gone wrong. So I hope that I can build this rapport. I have had long conversations with MAGA constituents, their constituents now, but they were my friends before this and they will be afterwards. My library patrons who were lied to. And there's no shame or blame that I'm going to place on you if you come to the realization that everything that he promised has been a lie. But there are people who really want to bring this to you, and they're your everyday people. They're progressives. So check them out. If you guys are, if you're listening to this and you're still here and you're not, a leftist lunatic like me, that's okay because there is a huge amount of propaganda. There's a huge campaign of propaganda meant to make you believe that Democrats are all crazy and everyone who's left-leaning is an evil-hearted, insane person. And that's just not the case. It turns out everybody in the Epstein files is an evil-hearted, insane person. So this has been a reckoning. I think the war with Iran, I think the Epstein files has been a complete reckoning for a lot of people, and you have to sacrifice what you thought was your religion to leave and your identity and your community, and you have to find your way through this, and it's freaking terrifying. And so I made connections with people who are ex-MAGA. They're ex-MAGA because we've had these connections and conversations over time. So I hope to build this rapport. I hope to show the light at the end of the tunnel, and that it's complicated, but you can build trust with leadership. And if you're a leader and you're not actively working to build trust every day, get out of the way for someone to do it.
I'm glad to hear that there are people turning around, changing their mind, because it seems like there is no bottom for a lot of people who are bought into this. So I guess it's good to hear that you actually know some examples of people who are changing their minds.
Well, and the Trump signs came down. I lived in Trump sign territory, and one after another, and it wasn't, when they won the election, it was slowly over the course of months after that until you just don't see Trump signs anymore because it's embarrassing to support him because he's such a liar and a pedophile, and everybody knows it. You should prosecute him.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in Branson, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, they do have two that I saw, two entire stores dedicated to Trump merchandise. One of them seemed like no one was in there when we went by, but I was afraid to go in, so I don't know for sure if anyone was there. I was a coward.
Has a sign that says "Made in China" all the times. Made in China. Communist China.
Oh, by the way, I've been refraining from profanity just because I knew you had a kid in the car, so I don't know. Normally we would be a lot more vulgar on this show, but I've been trying to be polite.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's nothing that you've never heard before.
Can I bring up a couple of other bills that are still alive in the legislature just to get your thoughts on them?
Oh, it's going to be depressing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of these are funny, but this one's not at all. House File 2557 would create exemptions within the state's definitions of child abuse and child endangerment related to a parent or guardian choosing not to affirm their child's gender identity if it differs from their sex assigned at birth, saying these cannot be considered during foster parent licensing, adoption, or custody proceedings. So this is essentially basically a green light for conversion therapy is how most people are interpreting this bill. I have a good feeling I know what you're going to say, but what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's just evil-hearted. You can't be putting forth this kind of legislation, especially a cluster of it, if you just don't want to hurt people. And why do you want to hurt any kid at all, regardless of their gender expression? That's just mean-spirited. It's making people run away from the state. There's no point other than if you were intending and desiring to hurt more people.
This is a harder question to answer, but why do they want to hurt people?
Bigotry. Because Jesus told them so.
Yeah, is it that simple? I mean, I
think they've warped their religious views till they were whipped into a frenzy about LGBT people. I'm a Christian, and I read my Bible, and I ain't never found nothing about LGBT folks. Nothing saying it's not even in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Sure,
10 Commandments. It's absurd to be pointing fingers at LGBT people when there's a pedophile cabal that needs to be brought to justice.
For sure, yeah. Well, what about the part of the Bible, I think it's in Leviticus, that says if a man lies with another man, that's an abomination?
Oh, I think that's a really poorly translated piece of, if you look at the original text, it has more to do with a
Oh.
Yeah. We could get into that, but I don't know the details, so I have to go look that up together and discuss because it's such an absurd thing to point fingers at when people are being poisoned by the water here. We have a cancer crisis, a crashed economy here in Iowa, and on the national level, things are going so horrifically awry. Again, with the pedophile ring, the biggest human trafficking scandal in history, and no one in America has been brought to any sort of justice or even investigated yet. We got bigger fish to fry. Leave trans kids alone. Well, don't leave them alone. Actually, give them guidance and kindness.
Leave them to their own
There you go.
devices.
And protect them. They are at risk because the rejection of society, the demonization and stigma is contributing to this incredibly high rate of suicide and self-injury, and we have to stop it.
Yeah, they kind of just need health care, just like everybody else. That would take care of a lot of it if we just all had
Everybody gets health care, mental health care, physical health care, free health care. Not just be paradise on earth. I was just talking to somebody today whose healthcare prices have quadrupled this year, and she's not sure how she's going to pay for her medications. And that is just a common story now. And how we don't consider this a quiet genocide.
Mm-hmm.
50,000 people in America are going to die this year because of the cuts to the ACA subsidies that were keeping people alive and on their medications. We got bigger fish to fry than hurting trans kids with profit. That's easy.
I think people forget that was...
priority.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say the whole Joni Ernst thing. People, I think, kind of glossed over what that was actually about, which was about, the Medicare subsidies being cut, and how people are going to die because of that. That's what happens when you cut public health.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
that is what you were asking her about.
Or not, because she wanted to keep saying that it's only immigrants that would lose their insurance, which was a lie. But I don't care. I don't want 50,000 immigrants to die this year.
Yeah,
I know it's a hot take to not see as illegal aliens or whatever they want to call them. That's evil-hearted too. To other people until they're not even human. That's spirited and unnecessary.
I don't know what causes a person to hate others so much, but we've hit on the two major ones, which is like gay, trans people, and immigrants. Like, why do we have such a big problem with this? Why are we demonizing these people, scapegoating them as like they're the source of all of our problems? They're scamming all of the healthcare money that the government gives out. The libraries are trying to turn your kid trans, so we have to shut down the libraries. Just calm down. Everyone's fine. I think that's my big advice to all these people is like, just chill out.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a deep breath, turn off Fox News. It's the biggest investment in propaganda in human history. So just take a break from that and you'll find out that your neighbors are actually people and that you're probably way more safe than you feel like you are. And trans kids are not being corrupted by the devil. They're just kids.
Yeah, right.
And immigrants make good food.
Yeah, they're just regular people.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bigger fish to fry, let's talk about another important thing here. And this is kind of related to healthcare. House File 2133, and again, this bill is still alive, would designate kratom products. Am I saying that? Am I pronouncing that right, Evan? Kratom?
I believe so, yes.
A substance currently legal for sale and possession in Iowa, which produces a stimulant effect at low doses and acts as a sedative at high doses, as a Schedule I hallucinogenic substance. People found in possession of kratom would be subject to a serious misdemeanor charge for their first offense, an aggravated misdemeanor for their second, and a Class D felony for subsequent offenses. This is a drug you can buy at the gas station, folks. And they want to put it on Schedule I, which is, like heroin. India, do you have any thoughts on kratom?
Golly. It's a plant, yes. I don't know that much about kratom, but I know it's like a green powder from a plant. Right. So I feel like if we are addressing a bill that would legalize psilocybin for use with PTSD, then probably making kratom illegal would be pedaling back towards unnecessary adjudication for people. Unless that's what we want, because we also have another bill. I'm looking at the ecosystem of bills here. We have the Three Strikes bill. My opponent is a co-sponsor for a bill that would make violent and drug crime reoffenses a harsher sentence. And that is a real challenge in the state with the worst mental health care in the nation. We have the least available beds, and we've got multiple issues with our healthcare system. for mental health specifically. I worked in mental health as an RN for a few years, and I can tell you that reoffenses happen more for mental health and life instability issues than they do the intention of the person to commit crimes. It's not something they do for fun a lot of the time. It's something that's a compulsion, and it's a mental health crisis a lot of the time. So I think it's cruel to move towards adjudicating for people, but I think it's also profitable. I think private prisons can make a killing on these laws being put in place at the same time. So I do want to look into how profitable that is, who makes money off of this, and I think we need to just legalize marijuana, and I think we can leave kratom where it's at. I've never heard of overdoses being an issue here in the state. I don't think it's an issue. And if it brings tax revenue, why are we making it more complicated and creating a black market, essentially? Long story short, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, more prohibition. It works every time we do it. Every time we do prohibition, lots of positive results for everyone. I've never tried this stuff myself, but a lot of people, it helps them chill out. It alleviates pain. A lot of people with like chronic pain take it.
Yeah, co-founder of the pod, I'm sure he won't mind us saying this, but our friend Chuck has multiple sclerosis, and he finds that that's one of the things that really helps him with, having energy and being able to do the daily tasks that he does. And he's a hardworking guy. So, there's a lot of people out there like that.
Well, let's not make a criminal out of him.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. I need to research more about kratom. This is, again, unnecessary.
Yeah.
The crime rate is already low. So we don't want to just create more criminals out of firewoods. That's silly.
But I think that's why it's necessary, right? Because if if we have fewer people getting funneled into the prison labor system, where are we going to get our slaves, India?
Oh, don't get me started. Exploitation is a huge issue here. We don't have private prisons here in Illinois that I know of, but we're exporting people for exploitation.
Sure.
Issue.
Yeah. Well, we have just about filled an hour with you. I don't want to make you stay in your car for too much longer.
It's been a great conversation.
It's really nice out today, too, so that helps.
Yeah. Well, she had to roll her window up, though, because of the siren.
Yeah. Well, can't do anything about that.
It's down again.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, before we go, you got any, like, closing arguments or, a plea to our listeners? Like, what do you want them to do? Command
my
them.
campaign manager will be mad if I don't say, if you'd like to support me, check out my website at mayforiowa.com. MAYFORIOWA, the best state in the nation, bar none. Fight me on that.com. And my social media accounts are all just May for Iowa, spelled the same way. I'd love to connect with people. If you want to email me, if you have legislative advice, if you have research you want to share with me, I'm all about that. That's mayforiowa@gmail.com. I'd love to stay in touch.
Yeah, India's very approachable. She actually came to us about coming on the show because I'm lazy when it comes to outreach. But I've seen India, getting into it in the comments, fighting with people about Israel and stuff. So that's kind of how I knew that she was like on the same level as us. She was our kind of person. So if that appeals to you, and if you listen to this podcast, it probably does, you should check out India, support her if you have the means. This Charlie Thompson guy doesn't seem good to me. So if we could maybe replace him with India, I think that would be a net good for us.
Yeah, any help I can get. Oh, and if you want to see my more hot takes, controversial stuff, go to Code Red State on all the socials, except for Twitter, because fuck Twitter. I love to do interviews at protests and get into the how and why of this movement of anti-MAGA in red states. So that's Code Red State.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Code Red State. Great. Well, I think that's all we got for now. Thank you, India, for your time again. And I I'm saluting you. Actually, my ventriloquist dummy is saluting you. It's a cool trick I learned.
Justin's been doing really good this whole time. It's really impressive, actually.
I'll catch you later. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks,
yeah,
India.
For sure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
See ya. Well, that was nice. I didn't know her too well at all, so it was good to get a chance to talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that suffered a bit because I was out of town for a few days and didn't send her the link until yesterday, and so I think she kind of forgot that she had scheduled this.
That's okay. I kind of forgot that we had scheduled it also. Because I was like, oh, Justin's on vacation. Like, we might not be doing a pod this week. And then, oh yeah, we already had scheduled that before you even left.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was thinking like, well, I have this is all taken care of. I can leave for a few days and not think about it. But yeah, that was very nice of her to sit in her car for an hour and talk to us. What's more fun than sitting in your car for an hour? Coming to a show at Frat House on March 28th in Iowa City. The band that I'm in, Ascended Master, is playing a show there with Nequient and Black Cross Hotel on tour from Chicago. I would love to see you there. I've also been informed of a screening coming up at Film Scene in Iowa City. This is a movie that they showed at Refocus last year called WTO 99, which is about the protests that happened at the World Trade Organization in Portland. It was in Portland, right?
Seattle.
Wasn't this in Portland? Seattle.
Seattle. Damn, you don't know about the WTO riots?
That part of the country is all the same place to me. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I would love to see that. It looks good.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch it when they played it during the festival, and fortunately it's coming around again. And my friend Sarah Ann, who works at Film Scene, is trying to put together like a group screening on the 29th. A group of local engaged lefty type people. So if you want to come see a movie with a bunch of people who think like you, WTO 99 on the 29th at Film Scene. After that, on April 4th, I'll be playing a show with Lex Leto and the Christine Burke Ensemble as part of the Stop Time Festival at the Iowa City Masonic Building, April 4th, 2 p.m. Don't you want to go sit in the Mason Building at 2 p.m. and listen to weird music? That's kind of an ideal Saturday for me. Do you have any thoughts about anything we said on the show today? Do you want to yell at us for any reason? Do you want to yell at me for not pushing back hard enough when India said she's a fiscal conservative? Give us a call. 319-849-8733. Your voicemails are always appreciated and create good content for us when we record Rock Hard Call Us, which maybe we'll do soon.
Let us exploit your phone calls.
Make the podcast
for our own. Yeah, exactly. This has always been an offer. It's always been an offer. You can just make your own podcast. You can you can make your own podcast and call it Rock Hard Caucus. There's nothing we can do to stop you.
I guess that's true, but out of respect, could you call it Rock Hard Caucus 2?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, call us anytime, day or night. We will not answer. 319-849-8733. And Rock Hard Call Us, by the way, is on our Patreon, patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. If you like the show and you would like to see it continue into the future, you can spend money to encourage us to keep making the podcast. We got 5 episodes of a series called Talking Shat that we recorded and released recently, watching a TV show with William Shatner called Invasion Iowa. I'm very glad we watched that. I'm glad that that's part of my mind now.
That's one of the few things I've ever brought to the podcast. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone else did, but that's not true. I know some people enjoyed it.
No, it's part of the canon now. We got stuff like this out of it.
I've never heard such hogwash.
Oh, hell yes. I love it.
All right, we're going to close out with some local music like we always do. If you make music and you'd like to send it to us, visit our website, rockhardcock.us. There's a link near the top. And now we're going to hear a new song by Lex Leto, the aforementioned Lex Leto, who I will be performing with on April 4th, with their new song, Hard as Stone, which is appropriate for our podcast as well, Hard as Stone.
Yeah.
Rock Hard as Stone Caucus.
You can start a podcast called that if you wanted.
Yeah.
No one can stop you.
No one can stop you.
We're
from
not going
doing
to
anything.
lawyer up. I mean,
Look at us.
we're not. We do not have lawyers on call. Maybe we should, but
I kind of do
you?
I mean,
do you?
kind of.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I guess we've had some friends get into some trouble
In emergencies.
Probably know some people.
I have a couple people I can call, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I think that's all for today. Thanks for listening, everyone. Here's Hard as Stone by Lex Leto.
Hard as stone, I choose